I have, oh, we're recording. I was gonna tell you, I have a meeting with the Scots or a Christian private school on Thursday.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, we'll just a meeting just to see.
Hmm. Okay. We are going to go live on YouTube. So we'll get started right now. So this is, I think this is our 12th episode, and hopefully everyone had a wonderful 4th of July. So mine was very, very peaceful. Started right now. So this is, mine was very peaceful. Um, just spent time with my wife and I and relaxed and chilled because I need it because there's a lot of stuff going on and that Taff and I'll bring up. Everything is good, but man, do we always have trials and tribulations? That's what life is about. So, but again, this is the name of our I'll call podcast is Lane Four. That's my name I go by, and then the main mantra of our whole podcast is to pick your lane. And I've been hearing that term a lot. I don't know if you've noticed that, Taffy, and a lot of the people we follow.
Well, yeah, Nino is saying it all over the place.
Yeah, pick your lane, because it really is about good versus evil, God versus Satan, and that's what's
Hmm.
going on. And people are going to have to make a choice, and the devil is very, very deceitful. So I pray for a lot of people that don't get caught up um, in what the devil will try and make as like glory and everything everything else, and make things seem interesting or enticing, because you got to follow God.
Yeah.
That's the only way, And I've speaking about it again. Is it's within us. The Holy Spirit's within us, and I literally every day have a conversation with God, and He talks to me on things I need to do, and I do it. Okay, and I know that right now I'm being tested on stuff. I think to see how faithful I am and not wavering, which I won't waver, but it's
Hmm.
tough. It's tough
Yeah.
what's going on today, and a lot of it has to do with, I'll speak to it towards the end of this, what's going on with our overall economy and how it's affected now me personally on decisions I have to make. But you know what? I'm just following God, and I'll take the
Hmm.
path wherever it leads me to. So
Hmm.
it's it's an interesting time, and I think I had
Yeah.
mentioned to you, Taffy, that one thing I learned in my life now of 62 years, and I didn't find Christ until within the last year, is I really felt that I was someone of a good nature, and I probably was, but
You always have been.
yeah, but if you look at it though, I the term I use is I operated in the actual gray. Okay,
Hmm.
and I'm colorblind. So people don't know I am colorblind, but I do recognize colors. I do know what black and white is, and they're pretty distinct colors. Um, and that is, I believe, as an analogy of pick your lane, good versus evil, black versus white. There is no gray, okay? If you're gray, as I was for 61 years, thinking that I'm, a good person and everything else, and at the core maybe I was, but I wouldn't be saved. Someone who's in the gray will not be saved. If you're on the fence, you won't be saved. For you to be saved, you got to be a follower of Christ. There is no gray. So, if anything I can, instill in people is, I went 61 years really, I did a lot of really good things. I was on hospital boards and all these kind of, different things, always donating my time, doing different adventures, but I wasn't um, spiritually connected. I was in the
Yeah.
gray. I was in the gray. Okay. And I've realized that, picking your lane really is that good versus evil. And I choose the side of good. I'm not in between. There is no in between. There is no
Yeah.
in between, you know. So if there's one message I
You,
could send to people, it's that.
well, I think you went from like a head to a heart change because all for your 61 years, you had it in your head, like, oh, yeah, this is what good people do. So I'm going to do this.
Right.
Um, but then when you actually enter into relationship with Christ, your head knowledge becomes heart knowledge and what you do and as an outflow of your heart and helping you do for the people on the streets and talking and sharing and really caring what God's plan is for you. It all flows out from the heart.
Right. Totally. totally get it.
Yeah.
It's a totally different exchange when it comes from the heart versus your head. You know
Yeah.
what you say. So that's
Yeah.
something that I've learned. You know, I find myself I have more conversations where I'm looking someone straight into the eye and really trying to understand who they are as well as I want them to, same with me. So,
Hmm.
it's been a great experience. I've had the time of my life, and I'm a firm believer that there's a lot of stuff going on in this world that I think about the last even 6 months of what has gone on in the world today, and if your eyes are open, you see it, and there's just a lot of things that are happening, such as the rally that went on over the weekend, um,
Hmm.
the different things going on with people stepping out, um, and trying to make people aware. And kind of the theme of this one is, you know, the mainstream media is doing everything they can right now to hide the information from the masses. Okay,
Hmm.
and that's just a part, a little bit what Taffy and I do, but it's so tough on YouTube because we get booted, you know. So I'm really trying to find the way to get a message across, just like everyone else does. I don't know if you know Simon Parks just got booted. Okay,
Yeah, that's what you said. Yeah.
yeah, he just got booted, because he spoke
Like
positively.
his channel's taken off, like he's gotten like jail for a couple weeks, or
Yeah, for
he's
a
like
couple weeks,
done.
a couple weeks he's in jail, and the reason why is because he spoke positively about the Rise America tour, which I got to be careful saying
Hmm.
about. There's a tour going on across the U.S., and he spoke positively about it. Okay,
Yeah.
um, and I don't know if people know, one of the things that I have followed for the last couple of years. It's called RSBN. It's the Right Side
Right side.
Broadcasting Network. Group of young people that they went out and whenever there was a Mr. T rally before the November 3rd, they were there well in advance, so you could see the literally thousands. When I say thousands, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 people that were at these events. Well, they got banned from YouTube last week because they
Hmm.
don't want, because again, they were in Sarasota to show the event. Well, luckily they have other means, like they have an app, so I went to the app. But YouTube banned them from showing it because they don't want people to know. And it's
They
just,
don't.
yeah, they don't
It's
want.
like they don't want people to see unity. They don't want to see joy and people like coming together. If it's on their agenda of what unity looks like to them, then it's allowed. But like,
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's the way that I've kind of like dimensionalized it. I had to move a few things around. Is they don't want to see people, like you said, unity, having fun,
Coming together.
all one cause.
Yeah.
And the cause is actually, really, when you strip it down, is to what the left has preached about for the last 30, 40 years. It's just gone to a whole different level, and they don't like the fact that this mass of people gets it, because it is all about, we're all brothers and sisters. Okay,
Hmm.
we're all brothers and sisters. There is no racial divide.
But like, see, and you say that, and that makes so much sense. But then, like, I will tell you, what's frustrating for me is like all lives, like to me, all lives matter. We're all unified, right?
Mhm.
But then like I still watched this Real Housewives of New York City last
Right.
night, and on Bravo Network, which is insane. So they're at this dinner, and this one character, or it's one, I call her lady, is hosting a dinner. She's African American lady. She's hosting a dinner in Harlem to like educate all the ladies on Black history, and all she's the only Black woman there, and one of the other white ladies, Ramona, brings her friend who's African American, and she's very much, her friend who's African American is very much on our side of the way she looks at things. And so this lady who's hosting the party is giving this entire story and history, which is wonderful, on Black history,
Right.
and starts talking about the oppression, and the other lady who was brought by Ramona, who was African American, had said, I just don't understand why there's this divide. Why do we have to make this about black versus white?
Right.
Why can't we just all come together and just unify and understand that we're all celebrated, we're all wonderful,
Right.
and let's not try to make so much division. And the other lady who hosted the party said, I don't understand where she's coming from, but there is no all lives matter. That's just not how it is. It needs to be separated. It's black versus white. And I was like, man, like, that sucks that's on TV, that so many people are watching and they're hearing that message, hearing the message of division. And how many other times are people hearing that?
Yeah, and that's the devil's plan, is to divide everyone. Because I think about in the early 2000s, when I had these major roles with a big company, there was a major coming together of all nationalities. Okay, I mean, there was no rifts between black, white, Asian. There was really this major cohesion going on. Like when you were in high school, and through the early 2000s, it wasn't until November 8th, 2000, that all the shit started to happen. Okay, was the saddest day of my life when I woke up that morning. Okay, but that's when it all started. Okay, on that date, I think it was November 8th, 2008. Okay, that's when the I'll call the Antichrist became known, and I'll call it that.
Yeah.
Okay, because I will be correct in my assumption.
I will never forget. I saw you that morning. We went to the gym, and you're like, "This isn't good." You're like, "This is the worst day of my life." I'm like, "Oh." And I didn't understand it then.
Right, but this is now on our. This, I don't know if this is too much light. You see
Skin
that?
color doesn't mean shit. You're either a good person or a piece of
shit. Right. So that's black and white hand together. Okay.
Yeah.
Where we go one, we go all. That's what it's all about. There is no there. Forget the division. I had many conversations. In fact, most of the people I interact with are of other than white when I'm out. Okay. We're all brothers and sisters. We hug. I don't know. I just get
when I was just on our trip, my husband and I went out one night with some friends, and I met two African American ladies, and I sat at the bar and chatted with them. And I talked to them about this. I was like, help me understand. I was like, where are you at? She's like, I don't understand where this world, both of them are like, we don't understand where this world's going. Why can't we just all be together and unify and just love each other? She's like, this division, both of them agreed that the division is ridiculous, and they don't agree with it.
Yeah.
It was just nice to be out in public with these women and just have healthy conversations and see their side, that they don't agree with it.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. The best thing that I have right now in reading the Bible, understanding everything, is God wins. Okay.
Yeah.
We have to go through this period of darkness, and I do believe it's going to get a little bit darker. The things that you're experiencing and I'm experiencing is all part of that. I really feel that my own things that are going on personally in my life are parallel with what's going on in the world today, and there's going to be a precipice, tipping point, which I'm actually looking forward to. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, because I have faith in God and understanding what's going to happen. So it's like, bring it on, let it be.
And that when you say you have faith, it is really having faith for no matter what happens.
No matter what happens.
Even if you think of the darkest thing, still having faith and trust in Jesus in the middle of it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's going on, just as a small tidbit. If people think about what's going on in the world today with the price of fuel, the price of lumber. Okay, I was just talking to one gentleman that works for me, and he had built a fence in his backyard last year. Real nice fence, redwood fence. I don't know if it was redwood, but it cost him $7,000 a year ago. And a friend of his was over for July 4th weekend and said, "Do you realize what that fence?" Because he's a builder. He says that fence today would cost you over $25,000 today to build. Okay.
Oh.
So you think about that, all right? Now, what I'm experiencing right now, I'm at the point where the business that I have could be gone. As it's something that I cannot control, okay? Because I cannot get I don't have the aluminum to make the can, Okay, so it's out of my control. I've now had 2 months in a row where I haven't been able to produce product because there's not enough cans. And if they do that with to me again, I'm done.
Oh,
I'm done. I have to tell all my employees I'm done. I nothing I can do. If I can't get stuff to put it in, it's because of what's going on in the world today. So I'm the small guy, and I'm about to get screwed because I'm a small guy. I've been begging and praying that they just maybe take a little bit from the big guy, give me some of their scrapings.
like from like Coke, Pepsi, you're saying?
Budweiser, anyone,
Budweiser, yeah.
anyone.
Because they're not having this issue, right?
Well, they are. Yeah, I'm told they are. There's an aluminum shortage. Okay,
Uh,
but I'm about to be put under because I can't get aluminum, and I pay for it. I have to prepay. Okay, I actually prepaid for my aluminum 6 weeks ago, and I still can't get it. Yeah, so it's like I don't know what I'm gonna do. I ask God all the time. It's like, don't worry about it. Keep going. Don't worry about
yeah.
it. So I was like, okay, all right. I'm moving forward. I pray I don't have to give that message to my employees, but I'm going to find out here in the next probably 5 to 10 days whether or not I'm
Yeah.
going to get the aluminum I need to stay alive. So, because I ask anyone if you have a business, if you could go, I've gone 2 months with no revenue. Okay, no revenue coming in, and so I'm at a certain point where it's like, I don't know what I'm going to do at this point. So
Ugh.
I'm waiting for the phone call that says, sorry, we can't get you cans for August either. So
Mm.
who knows? Thank you, who's ever the guy leading this wonderful country of ours, how everything has gone backwards in 6 months. It's amazing. So,
Did you see? Did you send me that video, or I saw it on you posted it on our Instagram about the chicken sandwich?
yes.
It was like how much?
Yeah, the sandwich was like, what was it, like $18 for a chicken sandwich, and the guy was like, "What?" He goes, "How much was this sandwich 6 months ago when Mr. T was in charge?" He goes, $7. And he
Ugh.
goes, so,
Hmm.
but hey, I get a lot of things that come to me, and one of them and I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it. But so many things come to my mind is, um, either you rise to God in joy, either you rise to God in joy, or you succumb to fear and Satan. It's basically what it is,
So true.
you know.
That is
Right.
that's it. We're done.
So I
Done
wrote it down.
recording.
It came to me this morning. I was like, rise to God in joy, or succumb to fear in Satan.
Did you get that in your prayer time this morning?
No,
Or
it
did
was
you
one
see
I
that
just.
somewhere?
No, it came to my head. First of all, I wrote down rise to God. I originally had rise to God or succumb to fear. That's what I had written down, and then I added this morning. I was like, no, it's not written right, and that's what I came up with.
Hmm.
So
And they
rise
can
to
use
God.
that in any situation you're in,
Right.
that we're in this country right now. You
Yeah.
know, with your aluminum, like
Yeah.
accept it. You know, this wonderful book I read by Hannah Herrard called Hind's Feet on High Places, and it talks about, it's just this beautiful fable of the good shepherd leading this lady up this mountain, and she finds this flower called acceptance with joy, and she learns to how to navigate through up this mountain and through life, accepting what is happening but accepting it with joy, because that can change our perspective and which path we're going to take. Because if we succumb to the fear, then the enemy's got us. He's just going to take us down that rabbit hole of anger and destruction and depression and
Right.
fear. Or we say, you know what, yeah, this is happening, but I'm going to choose to find the good in
Yeah,
it.
and that's what I'm doing because I mean, if I let my brain wander, I start thinking about all the negativity of what could happen with this event
Yeah.
I'm in, and I'm like, nope, nope,
No.
knock it off.
Yeah.
Stay positive, which I am. Staying positive.
Yeah.
So, but I also wanted to show something here that I found. I think I may have sent it to you a week ago. It's about a lamb roast. You seen that one?
I don't
It's
think
so
so.
the kind of the thought behind this is we do things because of things that we have seen. Okay, so we are reactionary to things that we have seen. So I'm gonna this is like a 2 minute video. It's very interesting. Let me put it over here on this side. So this is about a ham. I'm going to share the screen.
It's not like gross, is it?
No.
Okay.
See the screen?
Yeah.
All right. So here we go.
About a young woman, and every time she cooks a lamb roast, she cuts the end off it before she puts it in the oven. And then one day her husband says to her, "Honey, why do you cut the end off the lamb roast?" And she goes, "Well, I don't know. That's what my mum used to do." He goes, "Well, bring your mum. I want to know why." So she rings her mum and says, "Mum, why do you cut the end off a lamb roast?" And do you know what she said? "Because that's what your grandma used to do." She goes, "Let's do a group call and we'll ring her right now." And they ring Grandma. She goes, "Hello, Grandma, why did you used to cut the end off a lamb roast?" And she goes, "Well, honey, when I used to cook a lamb roast when you were young, our ovens weren't very big, so that was the only way we could fit them in the oven." 2 generations later, they're still cutting the leg off the lamb roast. Why? Because that's what they saw. Almost every behavior that is demonstrated in the world right now, it came from somewhere. And at some point, somebody, please stand up and take responsibility. Because we can point to somebody else. That's the fucking easy part. Anyone can blame. But at what point do we stand in front of the mirror and point at ourselves and go, "You know what? Maybe I'm actually part of the problem." Right now, we are surrounded by a disproportionate amount of entitled individuals who think they deserve a better world, but they're willing to do nothing to create it. All the dysfunction we're seeing in the world, it's not new, it's been there forever. It's now visible because of social media. It's now visible because we're seeing dysfunctional behaviours being documented more than ever before. Police brutality in America, and that's been happening forever. Okay, the only difference now is people are videoing it. Domestic violence, been happening for a very long time. Women being mistreated by misogynist, entitled, egotistical, arrogant pricks, it's been happening for a long time. Only difference now, women are speaking up. All this that is going on in the world right now, this ain't new. This is old news. And one or two things is going to happen. We're going to see this, and we're going to go, "Well, isn't that just the way that it is?" Or we're going to go, "Enough's enough." At what point do we break the cycle? At what point do you stop cutting the end off the lamb roast? Jocko Willink says there are no bad teams, only bad leaders. There are no bad families, there are only bad leaders. That's sobering. But my question to you is, would you follow you? Would you be okay if your children replicated every single behavior that you're demonstrating right now? Because guess what? That's what's happening. You're either an example or you're a warning. Choose wisely. In the last 2 years, we have withstood fires, earthquakes, wars, and we're now in the midst of a pandemic. Pain is not insignificant. Pain, based on history, has been the greatest awakener that this world has ever seen. Because it's not until you experience a level of pain that you start asking yourself a question, there has to be a better way. This hurts too much. There has never been more potential waiting to be unleashed than there is in this moment right now. The 2 greatest moments in your life is the day you were born and the day you work out why. And I would suggest most of you are tiptoeing through life right now trying to get to death safely, rather than opening the door every day and jumping out of the plane and facing death head on. Because here's what I know, at some point you're going to die, every single one of you. But there's one thing that lives forever, and do you know what that is? It's legacy. And my question to you is, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want to be remembered for? Because right now, you are writing in the history books your legacy. So you're either going to wait to nearly die, or you could just live now. The choice is yours. And have you ever watched a good movie where there was just that surprise twist at the ending that you didn't see coming? Maybe that's going to be your life. Maybe there's about to be a massive plot twist. And maybe that massive plot twist is a change in trajectory in your life and a change in the trajectory of every single person who knows you. But you need to find something that you're willing to die for, and then you need to live for it.
Pretty good, huh?
I need that. I need a copy of that. I'm gonna watch that every day.
Yeah. When I saw it the first time, I was like, whew.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just what he said though about the generations and how it's 2 generations on. And then he talked about with your kids and about the way that you're behaving. What do you want to be? Do you want to be an encouragement or a warning?
Right.
Like it totally ties in a lot with what the Lord teaches about in the Bible about God teaches about in the Bible about generational patterns and how we adopt these patterns generation after generation and generation, whether it be cutting the end off of a ham or whether it be alcoholism or you know, some sort of addiction or the way you discipline your children. These generations, you're passing it on.
Right.
But to actually focus and be aware of it and decide, okay, is that sin or is that from God? And taking it and like I've worked through and done a lot of this over the last 4 years, but just taking the sin and like praying against it and cutting the ties of that sin of the generations and deciding, no, I'm not going to allow this path to go this way anymore. We're going to turn and repent and change, and we're going to replace it with God's truth, and we're going to walk that way now.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where our world needs to go, is we need to repent of our sin. We need to receive forgiveness of the sin that we've had of the generations. We need to rebuke the enemy from all of the lies he's told us throughout these years, and we need to replace it with the truth of God's word and walk in that. That's it.
Right. And the simple question today, are you representing, would you want your kids today to do what you're doing? In other words, I thought that was pretty powerful.
Yeah.
You know, very powerful.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. When I found it, I was like, man, this it's a good one. So,
and it's never too late.
No.
Never too late.
Never too late.
That's why I don't care how old you are watching this or how young you are. You can start at any point. You know, to just be aware, like you talked about your thoughts of like, okay, you go into that negative and you say, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to change this way. It's all about a constant, like redirecting your thoughts to the positive and moving forward.
Shula's wanting to go real quick.
Hi, Shula. It's a good girl.
I know. Okay. She's here at my feet.
Oh.
So but I'm gonna transition to I don't know because I don't know who knows what transpired over the weekend, but there was an event that went on over the weekend in Sarasota, Florida. Okay, and it was called a rally, whatever the case may be. Hopefully that doesn't get me booted, but I have a picture of it. I'll bring it up here a little bigger. So this is a picture of the event. You see that?
Yep.
Okay. So they're estimating it was over 45,000 people there. Okay.
Wow.
And they were there for 12 hours. Michael Jaco was there, and he was there, and people were there for 12. It rained for 3 hours, and nobody left. Okay.
Wow.
And that's when he tried to go live, and he got booted off of Facebook for trying to stream it live, which I don't know if people even realize those kind of things that go on, but they do. And then there was this statement that the guy that used to be Mr. T, talking about how which I can't read it because I know we'll get booted off, but there's a lot that's going on that have happened, and there's been 2 events where people are coming together, and there's a lot of pre-activities that go on. And all I would ask of people, if you're not aware of it, at least look up what's going on out there, because there's a big movement that's happening. And again, the mainstream media is not going to show it.
No.
They are not going to show any of this of what's going on. Okay, it's just like. Let me get this one down. This happened in London. Okay, let me pull this one up. So this was in London. Well over 1 million people out marching. Okay, and it did not hit any of the media here nationally, or even over in the UK. They estimated over 1 million people. I'm going to put this tune this down, but what I've come to the conclusion is it was about maybe, I think we had done a couple things about this where it started off 10 to maybe 20,000 people, and the mainstream media would say that these were anti people this, or people that supported Mr. T. And this was even people worldwide. That's what they said.
Yeah.
When there was, 10 to 20,000 people, they would say there was a couple hundred people. Well, now there's over 1 million people out. So they just don't even report it. Okay.
Wow.
They don't even report it at all. And that's what people need to understand is what's going on in the world. And if people searched, like put in, marches or anything that are going on, you would find all this out there. Okay. That's going on across the world. But they don't want you to know. And that's what people need to understand is that
go out, have fun, enjoy life.
There is a concerted effort by the media to stop this.
There is.
Make it so you don't know.
They don't want you to know. They don't want you to have hope. They're actually. I mean, I'm sure you'll get into this with your stuff. Their next agenda is we either want everybody to go after each other and fight, or we're going to lock it down. That's their. Which one is it? They want civil unrest, or they want lockdowns.
Right. Well, the next thing that's been on the news that I try and follow a little bit. It's that new strain called the Delta strain.
Yeah.
Whatever. So I actually had a conversation with one of my doctor friends. It was I was in a meeting, and I happened to sit next to him at this meeting. And he looked at me with this fear because did you hear about the Delta strain? I'm like, sorry about that. And I was like, I heard something. I just looked down and go, we're gonna have to start wearing masks again. I'm like, I'm not wearing a mask. Not happening. And I told him, I said, just so you know, because I've had many conversations through the last 6 months with this guy. I do like him, but again, we're on polar opposites. I just said, listen, I said, I know of no one in my life that has passed from this thing that came last year. I know people that got it that had like bad cold, some of them were sick for 4 or 5 days, but everybody that I know in my world survived. On the flip, I've had 2 friends who have passed that were healthy from this, and I have many who have side effects. Okay, so for me, I said, he's always trying to convince me that it's doom and gloom. And I go down to in that Psalms 19:7, make wise the simple. Okay, I am a simpleton, and I feel I've become very wise over the last year. And I look at these people with the PhDs or doctorates; they're the ones that have been indoctrinated because they believe all the shit they've been seeing through their classes and everything else. Okay, they don't have a simple mind. Because even like street smarts, I guess, is what it is. Street smarts. So it's just frustrating when you see that, because that's the next thing. That's my next thing is get ready, because I'll bet you around September, October, they're going to try and have a big push.
Yeah.
Time to put the face diaper on again.
Some people just don't want to see, and they want to just, okay, tell me what to do next.
Yeah.
And they're happy with that. And you know what? Fine. Be happy with that.
Yeah. So I'm going to show a couple things here, Taffy, that, let me see. This first one has to do with, well, let me do this one here. This one here will be,
do you have stickers all over your TV back there?
No.
No. Like it.
So this one here is we talked about a division amongst black and white. So this would have been at that deal in Sarasota, Florida. Okay.
Yeah.
And here is a young couple, and hear what they have to say.
We're not oppressed. Stop it.
I'm a pastor, Hope for the Day Ministries in the Tampa Bay area. It's one of those things where you just gotta wake up, and I think that everybody is now we're part of that wake up movement, helping America not woke, but get awake. Be awake. Be awake in America. Yes.
Amen.
Amen. God bless you. Thank you so much. That was great. I hope we can clip that. I would love to see that on social media somewhere, because
Where can we find you?
Right Side Broadcasting. We got business cards. Just search RSBN anywhere on social media, and we'll pop right up. We have an app right now.
Yeah,
We're broadcasting
We've lost so many friends, or so-called friends, because of the way we vote and the way we think. But you call yourself a Christian.
Exactly.
You don't stand for nothing of Christ, but you call yourself a Christian.
And stand with the
done.
demonic left.
I'm tired of the skinny stuff. I'm tired. I can't do it anymore.
Right. It's weird. It's
I'm
weird
done.
stuff.
We're all lives matter. Number one, and number two, we're spirit beings.
Right.
You didn't choose your skin color. You didn't choose your gender.
Right. So why brag about it? It's just the left trying to push this idea that there's currency in victimhood. If you catch yourself in a viral moment where you're being oppressed, even if you manufacture it, you'll get a book deal, you'll get broadcast by Anderson Cooper or whoever else. It's all wicked, evil, demonic stuff, and we're pushing back against it with God's love and truth.
Isn't that awesome? All wicked, demonic.
Pretty good.
Oh, that was LT. Must have had a new one come out today.
I gotta stop this just a second.
Did LT have a new one come out today? I must have missed it.
Yeah, it was a good one. It was a good one. So, and then there's this one here. That this is more so people know. This guy, which I have my mouse here. This doctor right here, Satoshi Omura. Okay. He is right down here, Nobel Prize winning professor. He developed, I can't say this word because I'll get booted off, but that's one of the things that does stop the whatever. It's been known to it. And they censored him now because he's the guy that created the drug that helps stop stuff. So he's now censored.
Wow.
Okay, think about that. Nobel
They
Prize.
don't.
They don't.
Well, I mean, I don't know why I'm surprised. They
I know,
don't
but
want people to know the truth, that it's really just a common cold. Just get a little bit of this medicine.
Right.
You're gonna be fine.
Right. Yep. And now here's this one. Okay. This is this gentleman. This talks about the CRT. Okay. This is another good one.
You guys know exactly what's going on, and this parent is not satisfied or happy with what happened in the school. You got to hear this story.
My name's Ian Rice. I've got two children here in the Caledonia School District. It's very apparent here by all of the parents that have spoken that this board and the school district is failing. More importantly, I came here to talk about critical race theory. This theory was never meant to be brought into grade schools, high schools, at all. It's actually taught in the collegiate atmosphere, and more importantly, the legal portion of the collegiate atmosphere, to see different laws through the lens of race, from an ethics and an ethical standpoint, right? Not for grade schools and high schoolers. The problem with bringing it to high school and grade school level is that we don't have the educators properly teach these kids. Instead, they're using it as their own agenda to indoctrinate the kids to hate each other. And whether you believe that to be true or not, the reality is that's what's happening. Critical race theory is teaching that white people are bad. That's not true. That would teach my daughter that her mother is evil. You already have an educator within your staff that has pulled my daughter aside and said, well, you're a minority, so you know better than to engage in certain things. Wow. When I was brought to the school's attention, nothing happened to the educator. Instead, my daughter was brought in, and she was ridiculed. So my question is now, with critical race theory being brought in, what is your criteria to educate the educators? And
I'll leave it there on that one. But so his wife is white, but they're teaching that white people are evil.
Oh my word.
You know.
That's what they do. They're making you feel like if you're born white, then you're a racist.
Yeah. Yep. So I had that one, and I wanted to show that one. I won't show this one. I won't talk about Arizona because there's a lot going on. There's
yeah, there's
Satan is pushing.
Well, did you hear the most recent that what was it said that they're saying that all the voting machines need to be removed because the cyber ninjas who have done the AT here in Arizona have tampered with the machines. So it's actually the AT team that was here in Arizona that's the problem, because they've now tampered with the machines and they all need to be replaced.
Well, we'll see how this all comes to.
Well, that's what like Nino said today. He's like, they're just gaslighting. Right. He's like, I can think of some girlfriends who did that to me in my past.
Yeah. So, let me show. That's right. This one here, I didn't show. This is another one. This has to do with the cure. Mm-hmm. All right, and
the cure. Wait, the cure for it.
Well, you can't even say the word JAB anymore.
Oh, you can't?
No, you got to be careful. So, a lot of us are saying the word the cure because that's what people think.
Oh. Okay. Well, that's just, I can't get on board with that because it's not that.
I know. Well, I want to show this.
Can we call it nano robot?
Yeah, probably. Okay, so here is, this guy right here. Okay. So, this gentleman got the cure.
Okay.
Okay. And of course, we've talked about the magnet.
Yeah.
But then also, while we're talking, I'll leave this up long enough because there's also the words on the right-hand side, okay, which I can't say any of it, but if you just read it, there's some information there, okay, which kind of ties into this. But this is the gentleman and what he experienced after the cure.
Guy uses black light to show what it looks like under his skin.
Listen, guys, now I'm really worried. This is where I got the shot, the second shot. Look at this.
See that?
What?
So he's putting the black light on where he got the shot, and it's actually glowing. Has anybody tried this?
Now watch this.
It's glowing. Now I go down my arm, and it gets worse. I have a little dot here, but the worst part, look at the vein in my hand.
Look at the vein.
Look at that.
Oh!
The vein in his hand is glowing.
Yeah. So I have to stop it there because he says things that would get me booted off. I still might get booted off. So, but please read on the right because you can see this number right here. It's been recorded on this website, which you can look up, and this is what's been recorded of what they know. Okay. So far.
That's just not even. I mean, then that can't even be close to the number.
Right. So, but is what it is. Okay. I hope we don't get booted off, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
And then I wanted to show. I have another interesting video, and I don't know if people have seen this one, but this is. A lot of people just get so excited they can't wait to stand in the line so they can get, the cure, and they're all excited and they do, let people know I got the cure. So here's one. I think this is in Russia, and I don't know if you've seen this one or not. So these are people that are standing outside for this, and watch what happens. You see it all right?
Yeah.
Бедненький, молоденький. Аж судорога.
So this guy who was in line had, you call it an adverse reaction. His body was shaking and whatever the case may be. And people still stand in line. They didn't leave.
I'd run.
I'd run. It's like what? Like, Oh my gosh.
Get me out of here.
Ignorance is bliss.
Well, when I was we were just traveling, and in the Cheyenne. Back up. What do you mean? Yeah. Here you go. So I was in the airport I'll just say I was in Orlando airport. And everywhere there's signs that say go to terminal 2 this level and you get your free cure right now. Like, just telling everybody, just go. I'm like, it's everywhere. Like,
when we're at the baseball game, they have monitors everywhere. It's and so your mom and I, we ended up watched one of the Padre games where it was actually I'll say televised. So we actually, because I can watch it without commercials, which I love. I love watching a baseball game without commercials. But we watched one with commercials. Oh, I felt Satan coming through in the commercials.
Did you see the commercial I sent you last night?
Yes. Yes, but I just feel Satan when I had conventional television on to watch a baseball game and had the commercials, and every other commercial was about getting the cure or the crazy stuff that you showed me. It's just now that I don't watch, you just have a whole different lens when you see it. It's right in front of your face.
I know.
Right
I know.
It's front and center. So, yeah, and then about the whole with the Olympics and whether or not they're going to let guys who think they're girls compete. Hopefully that's not going to happen. But here's a video. I just have 2 more videos I'm going to show. This one here is, I think she's a star athlete from the Olympics, and she's at a hearing explaining why you should not allow these transgenders compete against women. And this is I don't know if he's a state senator or a congressperson, but you will see as when I saw this, people that aren't right with God, they are a tool of Satan. They may not believe it, but they're a tool of Satan. Okay?
Yeah.
And once Satan has used you, he'll just toss you away. He doesn't need you anymore. He'll use you as a tool. Well, here's a prime example of a person who is a tool of Satan. And to me, it's sickening.
Stop scrolling, watch this whole video.
I can't see it.
Again, watch Representative Michael Skindle.
Got it?
Yeah.
To intimidate and silence Representative Jenna Powell as she tries to defend women's sports.
The representative may proceed.
The Safe Women's Sports Act is a fairness issue for women to be able to achieve their dreams in athletics in our state. And is crucial to preserving women's rights and the integrity of women's and girls' sports. Across our country, female athletes are currently losing scholarships, opportunities, medals, education, and training opportunities. This amendment will require schools that are part of the OHSAA to designate separate teams for participants of the biological sex. No school interscholastic conference.
You heard that. Him frantically trying to shut her up. These are your elected officials. They have tax dollars. That man is completely deranged. He's unhinged. Here's a short clip from the other angle. The trans community is erasing all the progress that women have made. Where are the feminists? Women, you no longer have your own washrooms. You no longer have your own sport. Trans woman was crowned Miss Nevada, so now she will compete to win Miss USA. Now they're better at being women. We're birthing people now in chest feeders and cervix havers, and the trans women now are going to just take over. Have you looked at the bigger picture? Look at everything as a whole. They're feminizing men. They're eliminating women. Attack on the children. There is a country that is strengthening their army as they infiltrate and divide America. Besides scrolling social media and expressing your frustration, what are you doing?
Pretty.
It just really makes me think about everything I saw this week, being out in it all, in the middle of it all. You know.
Well,
it's.
But again, I'm gonna tell you something. God wins. Okay.
Yep.
And I'm gonna end this with this video because this one is good. Okay. I actually got teared up when I saw it.
Yeah.
Have you seen this one?
I don't know. It's not. I don't have share screen.
Oh. So.
No, I haven't.
Okay. So I'll set this up. This is a man and a woman having, a lunch or something along outside, and a homeless child comes up. Okay. And it's amazing what happens. So there's a lot of good. Pretty amazing.
Yeah. That's what we need.
Yeah. Yes, we do.
We see.
Stop all the negativity.
That's what I think was hard for me on this trip in the airports, and seeing all the people that are just so angry and out of touch and not looking in the eye, and just so covered by the mask. And it's like, it made me sad that I feel like so much of the humanity and the people of just being kind has just been stripped away.
That's what.
But then there was like little glimpses of just like the nicest, sweetest flight attendant. In this amazing server we had in this restaurant, Charlie, who took the time to like write us a little note and thank us for coming into his restaurant. And our server Ken, who took a time to like chat with the girls and just ask them about them. It's like, I'm trying to remember the good, because it's in our world right now. I feel like we have to really focus on that, because it's harder to find people just being kind to each other.
Right. Yeah. And it's so simple. It's just being, love, unity, kindness. I thought about this when you guys went on your actual trip is because Satan has a grip on this planet. People don't realize it. Okay, he really does. And God wins, and we will win. But we're gonna have to go through a lot of darkness before because it's gonna take people to feel the hurt.
Yeah.
Before they'll understand. But when you think about your trip, so you go on this trip to Disney World, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Which we know the true meaning behind Disney, okay? I'm not going to get into that. But you did have a wonderful experience, okay?
Yeah.
Right? Great, wonderful experience. Which isn't a place that now that I'm awakened, I'm a little bit leery of. But you had the opportunity, you and your family, to experience some joy. That little bit of a sprinkle of joy was given to you. But how did Satan end it for you? Right? How did he end it?
He tried to steal it.
Ended it with angst.
Yeah.
It's just, I sat there going, they had such a joyful time. I was praying you'd have a joyful time, which you did. But then how does Satan just...
Yeah. But we didn't let him take it. We didn't. There was a moment there where I was like, whoo-wee, we're about to...
Right.
The wrath of mom is about to come out because, I mean, in a nutshell, for anyone listening, it took us, when it was supposed to take us 6 hours to get home, it took us about 30.
Right.
And one of the grossest hotel rooms later, and 3 canceled flights later, and there was a point where I was on a flight, and I told you that there was the flight attendants were like, okay, everyone has to wear their masks, and they were coming by, and my daughter's mask would be down. She'd like, get to pull it up, and would keep correcting. So we're being respectful on the plane. And I look back, and the flight attendants are in the back congregating without giving us any sort of beverage service after we've been on the flight for 2 hours. They're congregating with their masks down, eating, chatting, drinking, and people are like, what is going on? But they don't have masks on, and they're back there chatting. And it was just all those little things that Satan tried to come in and steal it. But I kept telling the girls, I'm like, look, think about all the fun we had and all the ways that we saw God blessing us through this week, and let's focus on that. Right. And they were so good. Mm-hmm. They thought it was fun. Like, yeah, we get to stay in the hotel room, and oh yeah, we get to go on, extra flights. I'm like, okay, yay.
Which is good.
Yeah.
So I don't. But that's pretty much what I had. Tab. I don't know what you got. Anything else you want to bring up?
No, I think like we always say, I want to leave it for people to just really, if we give you any sort of homework throughout this week, it's like, think of how you can go out and just bring joy or love to anybody, a stranger, look them in the eye, help them to know that they're seen, and how that's going to make you feel just by sharing a little bit of love out in the world. Because the world needs it.
Even as simple like me, I at a minimum, when I walk by someone, if I can't get a connection, I'll always say, have a good morning.
Yeah.
And if I see them and they look at me and I see that connection, and I'll say, have a blessed day.
Yeah.
But I'll always say something to someone, because you just want to brighten their day, brighten their day, because so many people are just, their heads down
and the masks doesn't help. The masks don't help. People feel like they're almost in their seclusion in their space because they're covered, and it's easier. I've been there to just head down and focus on you. Right. But look up.
Yeah, and be positive. If everyone spread love, joy, and unity, everything would get fixed. Guaranteed. Yeah. And that one you can guarantee. I guarantee that one. Okay. My deal like anything else is, I just wish people would. I always bring it up. Don't believe what's behind the black box. And I'm telling you, don't even believe me. Look up for yourself. Research yourself. Find it within yourself. Listen to your inner voice. The inner voice, I'm telling you, if you accept Christ, that is where the Holy Spirit comes from. But if people can start doing that, start listening to themselves, and know the difference between right and wrong internally, you'll be on the right path. That's how I found Christ. Is I had to start listening to myself. And when I started listening to myself and listening to my daughter Taffy, that's what led me down the path where I'm at today. and I'm still learning so much. You know, I'm now in I'm still in the Old Testament, and I'm in Judges right now, and it's just everything I read in that Old Testament is happening today, which is just amazing. So, you know.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I got.
All right.
All right.
Well, that's good for me.
Yeah. All right. Have a blessed day. Let me know how it goes, okay? All right.
All right.
All right. Love you.
Bye. Love you.